Zakia, where you at? Where you at? Zakia,
That's me.
Zakia,
That's me.
Zakia.
Yeah, that's me. What's up, Kia Bia gang, and welcome to Zakia Chanel Podcast. This isn't just a regular podcast. It's a place where we can let down our guards and be our authentic selves. So let's talk about it. The real, the tough, and the funny conversations. At the end of each episode, I want you to walk away feeling better than you did at the start. All right, enough of me talking. Breathe in, breathe out. Now let's get into the episode. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Zakia Chanel Podcast. I am your favorite Detroit podcaster, Zakia Chanel, or you may know me as Kia Bia. And we are back again for another episode, y'all. I'm so geeked. I'm always talking about I'm geeked at the beginning of the episode, but I really do be geeked, y'all. Like, I love doing this episode, so I really am geeked about it. So I have another good episode for you all today. For everybody that's new here, welcome to the Kia Bia gang, the best gang that you can ever be a part of. And make sure that you continue to just share this podcast with as many people as possible. And I greatly appreciate it, and I love you all dearly for it. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into the episode. So as you all know, we always start with our praise break. And so for my praise break today, for this episode, I think that I'm going to say that I am just thankful to be alive. I'm just thankful to be alive, and I think in this episode you will know more about why I say that. But I'm just so thankful that God has given me another opportunity to be here again, another day to be in the world. So I'm just grateful for that. And so for this episode, I think I really like not having a title for the episode and leave a little suspense to it. Like, what is she about to name this episode? But I don't have a name for the episode. However, I do have a topic of what we're going to talk about. And so it's just a little reason of why I decided to even do what I'm about to talk about today is so previously I was supposed to have a guest for this episode. However, some things happened, some things needed to be changed, and I pushed that episode into a later time. And so I was sitting here maybe 2 days ago, and I'm like, okay, I really don't know what I'm about to do for this episode, but God, I need to do an episode for this week because I've been doing so well with being consistent that I don't want to just fall off just because I could not have my guest on here for this episode. So I'm like, God, what am I about to do? Y'all, nothing came at all. However, I always get a good thought either in the car or in the shower. So I'm in the shower the other day, and I was listening to a song, and I always listen to my gospel music when I'm first waking up and everything to just get me in the mood. And so I'm in the shower, and in the song, I can't even remember what song it was, but it was just saying, that when you are looking for a yes for something and you receive a no, that it's okay to receive the no. And that just means that God has something better for you that's in store. And it's something simple that a lot of people always hear all the time, God got something better for you. God got something better for you. But connecting it with a no, I don't know, something just made me sit back wow, that is so powerful to look at a no, because oftentimes we look at a no as we're not good enough, we weren't capable of doing that, or what am I going to do, or someone doesn't like what I'm doing. We look at a no in so many different ways, but to be able to look at a no and say, okay, God has something better for me, that is such a powerful way to look at a no. And so I'm like, okay, God, I see where you're going with this. And so this word dream just kept coming to me. Dream. And I'm like, okay. And I'm not a big dreamer in a sense. So God doesn't talk to me really a lot through dreams. sometimes, but not all the time. And then I'm not a person where I'm just sitting down and then I just go into like a dreamland like all the time. That's not me. I'm very like realistic and more of what's happening right now, what I want to do right now, what's supposed to be going on. That's kind of how my brain is. I'm not a dreamer in that sense. And so I'm like, okay, God, you've been talking to me about this whole dream thing for quite a while now. So it must be time to actually talk about it to the world since you got me talking about it. And so yesterday I was supposed to record this podcast. And so it was just so much happening that I just could not get a chance to sit down. And so I'm like, okay, I gotta record it, gotta get an episode done for this week. And I know my weekend about to be busy. So I'm like, all right, I gotta get something together. And yesterday, so maybe a week, it's been a week now. I got news that a friend that I used to go to school with had passed away. And I was just like, not again, not again. I cannot take another year with these deaths happening, people I know. And it's something about learning that someone that you went to school with or someone that you were friends with, and just knowing that someone that is young, like we're not in our 30s yet, y'all. So just knowing that someone had passed away, always, it just hits different. And it's not a thing that's been happening like a lot. It just within the past 2 years it's been going on. And so I'm like, no, this cannot happen. I cannot go through 2023 with this. And so I'm just like, God, what is going on? Like, why is people so young passing away? And it just hit me. And God started connecting that to the word dream. And it just sat with me like, okay, God, I think this is what this episode is supposed to be about. Us just dreaming again. And, like we don't know when our last day is, I mean, some people may, God may tell you like your time is running out or I'm coming to bring you home or whatever the case may be. But other people don't know when our time is to leave the world. And so I think that we oftentimes get so caught up with our day-to-day schedule. We get so caught up in what's happening in our life that we forget to not just make sure that we're achieving our purpose, because you could be living life and you could be achieving your purpose and feeling accomplished in some way, but remembering to dream. Because when you think about it as a kid, not only do people be like, oh, what do you want to be when you get older? And it makes me upset that we ask that question so much that it just becomes like a cliche. It just becomes like a question that just runs off of our tongue so easily of, what do you want to be when you get older? What do you want to do? That it makes it where it takes the dream out of it sometimes, because it's like, oh, I gotta know what I'm about to do when I get older. I gotta know what I want to be. I gotta know what I'm going to do, what I want to be. What do I like to do? And it's more of like, I think we need to start asking, what is your dream? What is your dream, and how does that connect to what you want to do? Or what are you dreaming to be in life? What is your dreams that you're having? I think that we need to start using the word dream, because it brings some simplicity to it, but also it brings not like a lot of weight to it. It makes it where you're able to really just dream as a kid and have all of these like amazing dreams that seem so impossible and seem like you can't ever reach it, and it just seems like it's out of the world. And if you ever told somebody what this dream was, they're going to be looking like, oh my gosh, like this is a movie, or this is something that is just beyond what you think you can be capable of doing. But in those dreams, those are the most special dreams, because that is connected to our purpose. It's connected to what we're supposed to do. God did not just give us that dream for us to just dream. Like the way that he created us with that creative juice, that creativity, and that uniqueness of each one of us is connected to the dreams that we have. And we sometimes as adults now, we're so used to just having to live life that we forget to dream. We forget to just sit back and say, what am I dreaming? What do I dream to do? Because I don't think that dream has any age limit on it. You could be 50 and God brings a dream to you. But if you are looking at it as I'm 50, I can't have no dream, you may miss out on such a special moment in your life because you feel like you can't dream anymore because you're older and you're an adult and you don't supposed to dream like that anymore. But we all look at it as it doesn't matter how old I am. A dream comes to me and a dream is supposed to be connected to what I'm supposed to do in the world. And also it brings it where you're not so it's not so serious. I think we just take life, and not saying that like we should just, go about life like it's a joke. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that we need to lighten up the world, lighten it up a little bit. I think that if we didn't take things so serious, or if we just lighten up the load, that a lot of us would be more happy in the world, that a lot of us would have more joy because we're actually passionate about what we're doing. We're not connected it to money. We're not connecting it to what you got. Because at the end of the day, when you leave this world, your money not going with you, your cars ain't going with you, your jewelry not going with you. None of that stuff is going with you. All you got that's going with you is your soul. And your soul is connected to what your spirit, and your spirit is your purpose, your life, your assignment, your dreams, your creativity, your uniqueness, everything of how God formed you. And so you don't want that to die. You don't want that to be just like, I died with this dream. I died without even trying to walk into my dreams because I thought it was so unrealistic. I thought that it was so impossible. But I want us to just start thinking about, if we just think of the dreams that we have and just try to go after them, not only will it make us happy and joyful, but it will feel like we're living life for a reason, that we're living life for a purpose. And also, we don't know when it's going to be our last breath. We don't know when it's going to be our last day. And we just got to start dreaming. And I think my friend passing away has opened my eyes to that, because my therapist used to ask me all the time, like, oh, have you been dreaming? Or what's your dreams? Or imagine. Don't forget to imagine. Have your imagination. Your imagination. And she always comes saying that, like, imagination. You're like, look at your imagination. And I'm like, what I look like? I'm 5. Imagine it. My imagination. Like, what are we talking about here? But now I think that I'm starting to realize, like, my imagination is, because it's like, a unicorn. Like, it's so unreal, but it can be real. It can be real, y'all. Like, literally, it can be real. We just have to put our mind to that. And I did not understand, like, what my therapist was saying all those times, like, that she would say imagination or like your dreams. I think that we close our brain of that. Like, we close that off. We shut it down so fast because of that. And I know for myself, like, that's a big thing that I do. Like, I could have a dream and then I start putting stuff into reality, and I'm like, that dream ain't dreaming no more. That dream is looking pretty real. Like, I don't know how real this can be in an imaginative way. And so I think that is a big thing of what we should start to think and look for. And, obviously, okay, like, if you're watching on YouTube, I don't know what was going on with my camera. Like, it just wanted to not focus, but whatever. So I think that where I'm at in my journey of dreaming is beginner stage. Obviously, as I'm been stating, like, I have not dreamed. I don't use my imagination, but I'm starting to walk into that. And I'm taking these different classes, working on business and trying to get everything together. And I think that what I wanted to, because I'm a very, like, not just a balanced person, but I need things to make sense to me. And so taking like this class right now that I'm taking for like business and stuff. It's opening my eyes to see that I can dream and I can make it a reality without it being so heavy, without it being so draining, without it being so serious. You know, like obviously you need to make sure that you have what needs to be done, but making sure that your dreams stay true. And I've been hearing this thing of your why. Your why. What is your why in life? Like, why are you doing this? Oftentimes we tell people what we're doing, but we're not telling them why we do it. And why we do it is connected to our passion. Our passion is that dream. And so I think that if we start to look at that, and that's something that I want to do right now, like while I'm in this journey, is starting to look at my dreams and seeing how it's connected to what I'm doing in my life right now. And if it's not connected to nothing that I'm doing, how can I make this dream visible for myself? Like, how can I actually see what's in my brain in reality? How can I get that from point A to point B? And within that, while I'm working to get to point B, I want to make sure that I remember my why. Because if I don't remember my why, I think that I will get so caught up in the logistics of everything that I will tend to forget what my why was. And if I lose track or lose sight of what my why is, then I've lost my dream. It just became a thing. And it kind of reminded me of, you know how people be like, okay, so you know how people have side hustles, right? And so in a side hustle, you know, you're trying to make money. And if you're not making money, then why are you doing your side hustle, right? But then also, I think I was like listening to something and somebody asked a question like, if I'm drained by my side hustle or I'm drained by what I'm doing on the side, like, should I continue to do it? And it made me think like, okay, well, what is your reasoning of why you're doing your side hustle? And oftentimes it's to get money or because this is your passion or something like that. And so I think that we just need to, it goes back to like, you know, that why. And if I feel like if your side hustle or what you're doing is not getting no money, or if it's not connected to like, if it's not no passion for you, then you're going to fall off. You're going to lose your reasoning of why you're doing it. And that's like even connected with me and my podcast. Like, no, I want to have tons of sponsors. I want all different kind of businesses asking me, you know, I want to partner with you. I want to partner with you. I want to have different segments where I got all these different sponsorships. And although that's not happening right now, I don't want to get caught. And that's so transparent because I do not open up like this. But like, I don't want to get caught up in, I want to have sponsors and I want to have this become a for real business where I receive all of this money in it. I don't want that to be my why, because if that becomes my why, then what about if I don't get all the sponsors that I wanted? What about if I don't get the money that I thought I was supposed to get in this? Then it just becomes a thing. It becomes what I just said, heavy. It becomes just like so draining that you don't even know why you're doing it anymore. You're just doing it because you're so used to doing it. And so I just think that that's just something that I want us to really think of. And I'm going to be really, really taking this into practice, especially with like my podcast and with other stuff that I got going on. I want to remember my passion. Like, why am I doing this podcast? It's not just to get money. It's not to just get sponsorships. It's not to just do all of this and that. I wanted to touch millions and millions of people. But why I touch millions of people, I want to inspire somebody. I want to motivate somebody. I want to encourage somebody. I want to support people. I want people to leave this podcast. Like in my intro and stuff, when it says like, I want you to leave with something, I mean that. Like, I don't want my breath to just be a breath that you just heard. I want it to be like, oh, I did not just waste my hour listening to this girl talk about nothing. I want it to be like, I just got so much out of this after listening to this for an hour or 40 minutes or whatever the case is. Like, That's what I want. And if I'm doing that, then I'm serving my purpose in this. I'm serving my why, the reasoning of why I am doing this podcast. And so regardless of what comes from it, I know that I'm serving it in the way that I want it to be served, the way that I want to leave it. So if I die tomorrow, I'm not looking back and saying, dang, I didn't do that. Because I've had this dream for years, y'all. Like, since I was a little girl, I said I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be in front of a camera. I'm going to be behind a mic. And I've always said that. Like, if you ask anybody that's known me all my life, that is something that I stood on. And I went into college, like, studying that, like, multimedia journalism. And I left, and no, it did not happen. No, I was not on no TV show right away. No, I wasn't on a news station like I want to be. But somehow, some way, through the years, because when I was little, a podcast was not a thing. It's not. And if it wasn't popular. Nobody was talking about a podcast. Even at that time, YouTube wasn't even like popular. You know, like it was YouTube. It was no YouTubers. It wasn't no influencers. None of this was really even like a thing for real. So like through that, God has opened up doors for me to live out that dream that I've always dreamed. No, I'm not at a TV station behind a desk or anything, but guess what? I'm in front of a camera. I'm behind a mic. I'm touching people watching me, people listening to me. And so in some way, it's my dream. No, it's not the full dream, but that don't mean that God don't have that in store for me coming up soon. And that's why I said yet. Like, I don't know what is to come. I don't know. So I have to keep that open. And that's what dreaming is all about, is being open, allowing your imagination to just go and take you far off, whether you know where it's about to take you or not. If you imagining it, if you got imagination, your story can change at any time. It doesn't have to be right away. And so I think that that's something that I want to focus on, and that is something that, all right, before we continue our conversation, make sure to follow me on all of my personal social media accounts to stay updated on what I am doing. You can follow me on Instagram at _KiaZ, _KIAAZ. You can follow me on Facebook at Kia Brewer. You can follow me on Snapchat at FabulousKia_4. Or you can follow me on TikTok as Zakia Brewer. But make sure that you follow our podcast page as well on Instagram at Zakia Chanel Podcast. Okay, so where do we leave off at? And so I think that this is important, and I think dreaming and having imagination is something that we all should really start to chase and go after. And I just really want to start asking people, like, what is your dream? Like, what is your dream? What do you dream to do? What do you dream to be in this world? If you could create an imaginative story that is just out the ordinary, what would it look like? What would it be, you know? And how can that become a reality, you know, to you and for you? And so, yeah, I think that this has allowed me to regain a sense of being a kid. Okay, I don't want to say because I don't really know the full verse, but if you know the verse, you know, let me know, because I'm still, you know, gaining my relationship with God, and I'm still learning the Bible and stuff like that, so I don't have it verbatim. However, you know, in the Bible it says something about, like, God says, dream like a kid, or something like that. It's some verse of scripture. I promise y'all, when I find it, like, I'm going to let y'all know. But it's a Bible verse that talks about, let me see. Y'all, but I'm so serious. Because As a kid, you dream. You allow life to just take you. Having a mind like a child. Who then is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? He called a little child to him and placed the child among them. And he said, truly I tell you, unless you change him. Okay. So it is Matthew 18, verse 1 through 5. And it says, at that time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, who then is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? He called a little child to him and placed the child among them. And he said, truly I tell you, unless you change and become like a little truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. So you take that and you run with how you see that Bible scripture, that verse that I just read. But like I said, he says, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. You will never enter the kingdom of heaven. You have to change. You have to change your mindset. You cannot have a mindset of what the world has showed you to be. You have to have the mindset of what God has placed in you when he brought you into this world. And when you was brought into this world, you was what? A child. You dreamed like a child. You thought, and it's okay. Obviously, as we grow, our thought and our wisdom becomes better, or we grow at it. That's what we're supposed to do. But you're supposed to have that child energy of imagining and dreaming as a child. And so, yeah, that's about the end of the episode. And I just really, and I think this will be like my run and tell that.
Run and tell that, run and tell that, run and tell that, homeboy.
But I just really want us to just take hold of knowing that we need to dream, that we need to imagine life. Be a child again. Be a child and dream as if you didn't have no bill to pay tomorrow. And I'm not saying to take life and just run with it as a joke, but I'm saying to have that mindset to allow yourself to just dream as you once dreamed and see where that will take you. And I'm for sure it's going to open up your eyes to so much that you put on the back burner because of life, because of what humans have told us to take important, or what human beings have said we need to be focused on. No. Whatever you had in that back burner for a minute, whatever was sitting on your shelf for a while, I need you to take that dream and make it a reality right now. And I promise it will make your life feel joyful, happy. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy and hippie hoo hoo. But no, I'm saying that you're going to have to grind, yes. You're going to have to figure out some things, yes. But what, baby, let me tell you, if you dream, you got that imagination, nobody can hold you back, because that dream is your dream. That dream is something that God placed for you, not for nobody else. That's your uniqueness. That's your difference from me, from the person next to you, from your husband, from your wife, from your grandma, your daughter, your child, your brother, your uncle, your sister, whoever. You're unique because of that dream that was placed inside of your heart to do and live out. So live out that dream that you got. Don't let nobody hold you back. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't conquer it. Don't let nobody tell you that what you doing, that ain't real. That's not going to happen. Don't listen to that. Let them be your haters and let you continue to just walk out what your dream is. Walk out what you're meant to do in this world, not what they meant to do. So that's my run until that. That's my episode. I just came on here. It's nothing super long or drawn out, but it just talked about just dreaming and, you know, allowing us to expand our imagination as we once used to do. So thank you again for listening, for watching. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Make sure that you share, comment, leave a review, run these numbers up, y'all, because like I said, every episode, I'm telling y'all, 2023 Zakia Chanel Podcast is going up. And if you're not a part of Kia Be a Gang, you're going to be left behind somewhere. And when we up there, don't be trying to be a part of Kia Be a Gang. Nah. Be a part of us now. Don't be trying to be a part of us when we up there. Then you trying to come and be a part of Kia Be a Gang, because this is the best gang, your favorite Detroit podcaster. Okay, I'm done. All right, I'll see you all on my next episode. I love you all, and see you later. Hey, don't leave me hanging. Before you leave, make sure that you subscribe to Zakia Chanel Podcast. You can listen to my podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Or you can go over to Zakia Chanel TV on YouTube to listen and watch the podcast. Looking for someone to host your event, or you want to learn how to start your own podcast, or you need organizing tips, I'm your girl. You can contact me via email. You can also reach out to me via email if you need any advice on anything at Zakia Chanel Podcast at gmail.com. Remember, it starts with you. Be blessed and take care of yourself.